Welcome to Cape Breton Movers and Shakers, where we have conversations with people who are doing positive things here in Cape Breton. I'm Richard Lorway, president of goCapeBreton.com, and today I'm talking with Marc Botte, co-founder of the Cape Breton Beer Festival and chief marketing officer of 902 Advertising Group in Sydney. Hi, Marc.
Hi, Richard. How are you?
Great. So I'd like to start off first by learning a bit about you personally. Like, where did you grow up, go to school, and how did you join the 902 team?
Yeah, absolutely. I was born in Reserve Mines originally, and went to school in reverse. Yeah, and went to school there. Same school my father went to. Went to high school in Glace Bay.
Gotcha.
And then went to CBU, like a lot of people did. And after CBU, got a job with one of the local radio stations. So I was actually on the team that launched the Giant and the Eagle here in Sydney back in the day. Yeah, right. So that was a lot of fun because we had, I was on the Eagle team and we were going out selling advertising and we didn't know what music we were going to play, what demo we were going to target, how much the ads were, or what you got for it. But we were expected to go out and sell a certain amount of money in launch packages. So that was it was an entertaining time.
Seat of the pants, in other words.
Oh, yeah, completely seat of the pants.
But fun.
Our first meeting in the building, there were no walls. We were just there as it was being built. So it was a lot of fun that way. So that's what got me involved in marketing and advertising. My wife, or my girlfriend Sharon, and now my wife, and I ended up moving to Halifax. We were in Halifax for about 5 years. I worked with Yellow Pages Group on their digital side. So it was my job to kind of go from like rural community to rural community to rural community. And get people kind of out of their old ads in the phone book and into things like, search engine marketing and, search engine optimization, digital display, kind of when it was more in its infancy, video advertising, YouTube stuff, things like that. Eventually, I took a position with that company, moved here, back home to Cape Breton, and then connected with the folks at 902. 902 was kind of in its first one and a half years of operation at that point.
Right.
We're in our 9th now, so it was a while ago. I connected with those guys and thought, well, if I'm going to be doing this, then why not do it for a local company, and keep as much of the advertising revenue on the island, because with the Yellow Pages, you're just shipping everything to Montreal. Right. So basically, I do very much the same thing. Along with a bunch of other things, which is the nature of a startup. But I do very much the same thing here at 902.
So 902 is a full service agency?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do everything from website design, builds, logo, branding concepts. We launch like lots of new businesses. We do full service video, photography. We do everything from headshots all the way up to on location, full start to finish commercials. We do targeted digital advertising. We make commercials for television. We have sister companies that develop technology, and we're in the events business as well. So yeah, we're pretty diverse.
Perfect. So events business, that's a good segue to the Beer Festival. I want to talk about that. So 902, you were one of the co-founders of the Cape Breton Beer Festival. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's that whole thing started when my wife Sharon and I took a trip to Charlottetown. We're with our friends Tyler and Michelle, and Tyler invited us to a beer festival, and I had never heard of it before. This was
what a concept,
7 or 8 years ago. Yeah, I'd never heard of it before. So it was downtown Charlottetown at the Hotel Convention Center on the waterfront.
Right.
And we went basically into this big hotel ballroom, kind of where they hosted the ECMAs a couple of years ago. And there was a whole bunch of vendor booths around, and they were all just one ticket price, and you had a bunch of different beer tickets, and you got beer samples, and you went around and you talked to all the different vendors and craft brewers, learned about their products, sampled a bunch of it, and it was great. We were there in the afternoon, and it was a good time. And then I kept thinking about two things. I thought about, one, how much fun it was, and two, how much fun it could be, because like it was in a hotel conference room, so it was just like, it was daytime, which is fine because you can do it in the daytime or night.
Right.
But the lights were up, full. They had, the music was coming from like a little PA system over in the corner. It was like a really sterile conferencey environment, and there's not a knock against that festival at all. I mean, I hear, I've been back. It's a great festival. They're fantastic organizers, and they're accomplishing exactly what they set out to do. But from our perspective, I thought that, well, why don't we do it, a little bit more of the party atmosphere? Because if the vendors from Nova Scotia or different provinces are going from festival to festival to festival to festival to festival, they've probably gotten what they need to get out of that industry type of event.
Right.
So why not have ours at the end of the year and cap it off with congratulations, we made it through another year party, and have much more of a traditional kind of like when we think of festival, we think of like things like Celtic colors or Nova Scotia Music Week or the ECMAs. Like when someone says festival to me, that's what I think of.
More of a celebration, less of a conference.
Yeah, exactly. So then why not turn it into something like that? So I was having a conversation with my friend Nigel Kearns one day, who I know as well, and he's in the events business and very good at it, very talented. And I just mentioned, like, I was at this thing, and I think we can take a different take on it, and do it differently. And he said basically, like, I've been wanting to do a beer fest forever. And then I brought my two advertising partners in, and away we went.
Perfect. So and live music is a big part of the festival.
It's a huge part of it, yeah.
Yeah.
So we took a completely different approach to how you would design a room. So our event is somewhat unique, where it's in the Joan Harris Cruise Pavilion, which is one of the larger rooms that you can get. But we actually put the stage right in the middle of the room, and the whole event takes place fully around it. So that there's no loud spots, there's no quiet spots, everything is at a certain volume. There's no bad sight lines, there's no good sight lines. All the sight lines are good, they're all the same. And then basically when you're ordering your drinks and talking to your vendors, your attention is on the vendors. When you're listening to the music, you're engaging the show, your attention is on the show. And then everything kind of basically just naturally circulates around the room. So it's kind of different than having all of your music kind of up one end and then all of your attention is projected one way. Gotcha. So it creates kind of a different flow to the room, and it's a fairly it's a unique experience.
That sounds very cool, actually.
It's really cool.
I have to attend, and I do like beer, so.
Oh, absolutely. Well, yeah, absolutely. So we're bringing in I think this year
potential marriage there. Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's 18 vendors coming in, which is basically all we can accommodate for capacity reasons. So there's 18 vendors from across Atlantic Canada, and they bring in 4 or 5 different beers each. So there will be plenty there. And we also have we'll have local cider vendor, Island Folk. We have Nova Scotia Spirit Co. that's always on board. Every year we try to bring in a wine vendor as well. So for people who Rare Bird always brings in all of their spirits and Fortress Rum and things like that. So we do call it a beer festival because the focus is the beer, but there's plenty there for everybody. And we also have food vendors in there too.
Right. So that was my basic question. If I didn't like beer, what would my options be? So
you'll have plenty.
Wine and spirits, and so
and cider.
And cider. And so do you also have some kind of arrangements for designated drivers? Because a lot of people will be drinking beer, obviously.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, we have a designated driver ticket. It's substantially less. So the way our tickets work basically is, you buy your ticket, it comes with your samples. And if you need more sample tickets, then you can come back and get more, and there's no additional charge for that. Gotcha. We do a ticketing system both so we can pay the vendors and just so that we can be responsible so that nobody gets overserved.
Right.
So we want to make sure that that's that's okay. The designated driver tickets are a lot less. They have a special bracelet on, and there's complimentary soft drinks from Pepsi all night for them. They can have as much as they want, and they can have the whole experience, the band, the show, everything. But they won't be served alcohol. They will not be served alcohol with a DD bracelet on.
Perfect.
So we do that. Our partners here at the Joan Harris Cruise Pavilion are fantastic for people leaving their vehicles overnight. This parking lot has security. So there's zero reason to be drinking and driving. Like, you leave your car there, nothing's going to happen. You can bring DDs. And we have deals with the hotels downtown as well. If you say you're with Beer Fest, we have different rates and things like that with the hotel.
Gotcha.
So if you need to stay downtown, you can stay downtown.
Perfect. So how has the reaction been from the public?
Oh, it's been fantastic. So the first year, nobody really knew what to make of it. So we had a Friday afternoon show and a Friday night show, and we lost a bunch of money on both of them.
Welcome to startup.
It was terrible. We put a lot into the production. Like, the production cost in this show is a lot higher than it needs to be.
Right.
Because we fly a light and sound rig right up to the ceiling. We have the stage in the middle of the room. We have the whole room lit. We have a big audio visual display on one end. We really kind of go all out. And we did that from the beginning, which was probably, we realized that it wasn't necessarily the smartest way to do it. Like, you would normally kind of pare it down and then build up the complexity as it goes, and festivals typically do that. But we really wanted to show people right from the beginning that this is what it is, this is what it's going to be, this is what we can do. And we knew we were going to take a bit of a hit, but didn't think it was going to be that much. But that's the only time that happened. After that, we did eliminate the afternoon show just because it just, like, the room is huge. Like, our capacity, I believe, is 860 people.
Right.
So we didn't need two of them. But then after that, it's been sold out events every year. This is the 5th year. Well, I mean, last year was supposed to be the 5th year. And then we're going to do kind of a hybrid event and call it year 4.5, but then everything got shut down.
Right.
So this will be our 5th celebration. And out of 860 tickets, I checked this morning, so I'm not sure when this is going to air, but there was 111 left. That's it.
Wow. Okay.
And we're more than 40 days out. So.
Yeah. Well, that was my question about last year. Obviously, COVID intervened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm assuming this year that you have protocols in place.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So if you want to get in, we're following. We've been, in constant communication with public health. They're all up to speed on what we're doing. Basically, it's we're requiring full vaccination, proof of vaccination. You have to be wearing a mask if you're not actively eating or drinking. So basically, anything that you would have to do at, say, like an Eagles or a Mooseheads game or something like that, we're following the same types of protocols. That being said, because the restrictions, we don't have to do things like physical distancing, so we can operate at full capacity, which is good. So we're like, we can deliver very, very close to the experience that people are used to. And if we didn't think that we could actually deliver the event the way that people are used to and the way that we know we can, then we wouldn't do it. So we're confident we can keep, like, there's going to be plenty of hand sanitizing stations. We're going to be opening up the admissions early. So early that day, if you want to come in, present your proof of vaccination, everything, we can check you off. We can put the bracelet on you. And then when you come back, all you have to do is grab your glass and go, essentially.
Gotcha.
So we can streamline things that way. And for people who are showing up, normally we can process an 800. We have 2 levels of tickets. We have VIPs and generals. So the VIPs get in the hour early and the generals come an hour later. Normally we can process, approximately 400 VIP tickets holders. We can process that line in about 15 minutes. So we're pretty quick at it, but this year it is going to be slower.
Right.
So it's important for people, come early. We'll be announcing in the next couple of days when those time windows will be. We're probably going to do them for a couple of days. But come early, get your bracelet on. They're waterproof. All right.
Yeah.
I wear these concert bracelets, and I always end up wearing them for like 2 or 3 days before I can get the bloody things off sometimes. But get your bracelet on. That way you can get in early. You don't miss out on any time, and everything is fine.
Gotcha. So really, a big part of it's managing people's expectations.
Yep.
Yeah, I think people have adjusted generally because of the situation. So.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah. If you're experiencing COVID, like cold and flu symptoms, don't go. Like, don't come.
Right.
If you bought a ticket and you have to get refund your ticket for those reasons, typically our tickets are no refund. But if somebody comes down with a cough, then yeah, obviously we're going to work with you on that.
Yeah. Perfect. So what do you see for the future of the festival?
For the future of this festival, I mean, we'd like to get back to 100% normal, where we don't have to be checking people's papers at the door. That would be fantastic. In terms of this particular festival, we kind of hit a crossroads a little bit. So we can't make it really a whole lot bigger, because we don't really have a whole lot of bigger rooms. I mean, we could move it to like a center 200, but you can't get the same atmosphere in the room. So rather than changing the festival that way, I think our plan is to expand into more events. So Beer Fest will be kind of our winter event. And we're actively developing a fall event currently that I can't talk about just yet.
Okay.
But we'll be very soon announcing a fall event. And then we're going to be in active development for a spring and summer event. They won't look exactly like Beer Fest, obviously, but they'll have the same level of attention to detail, production value that people have come to kind of love and expect with Beer Fest. So our goal is to have an event for every season.
Right. Okay. Well, I know it's a lot of people think it's a great way to kick off the holiday season.
Oh yeah.
And for a lot of people, it marks the start of the holiday season. Yeah. So where can folks get tickets?
So you can get tickets at CapeBretonBeerFest.ca. You can follow links on our social media pages. We're Cape Breton Beer Festival on social media, and all of that links through the tickets, and they're for sale completely online.
Okay, excellent. So the 5th annual Cape Breton Beer Fest will take place on Saturday, December 4th, correct?
Yes.
At the Joan Harris Cruise Pavilion in Sydney. And that's a great, I think, way to end the interview.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much.
All right. So I was speaking today with Marc Botte, who's co-founder of the Cape Breton Beer Festival. And we'll see you next time on Cape Breton Movers and Shakers.